Plastic recycling is a lie.
If you would like to learn about fairy folklore, delve into modern fairy faith spirituality, and explore fun and fanciful fairy-themed events, please subscribe to Fairy Fortunes for new videos every Friday.
Hello, my fair friends. I'm Ruby Ruse, and this is Fairy Fortunes. You may notice that Baby Bunny here today has an army of echo rabbits here to lead the charge to defend the environment against the dangers of plastic. Be sure to watch to the end of this video because to one lucky subscriber, I am going to be giving away one of these cute little handcrafted rabbits as a token of my appreciation on Earth Day, which of course is April 22nd. So please subscribe and make sure that you watch to the end of the video to learn how to win one of Bunny's Echo Warrior rabbits. So this video got its start back in Yule. I was watching another YouTuber by the name of Austria Sen. She was doing a Yule crafting project for 2020, and I was really inspired by her video to make something handcrafted during the 2020 quarantine and pandemic. I was really troubled by all of the plastic grocery bags that I had accumulated. Grocery workers were understandably refusing to work with the cloth and other reusable grocery bags that were brought in by shoppers because they were a potential contaminant during the pandemic. So that was understandable. So many of us converted to using bags that were provided by the stores. And here in Illinois, where I am, there is only a limited plastic bag ban, and some grocery stores do not offer a paper option. So I was stuck using the plastic bags. I very carefully gathered up my plastic bags and was returning them to the store when I went grocery shopping to be recycled. Well, one day I just happened to be leaving there as they were collecting the recycling and trash. And the attendant took my sorted plastic cleansed grocery bags and she lumped them into the trash with the rest of the waste products, with used ice cream cones and banana peels and somebody's chewing gum. She just put it all in the trash together, because the reality is plastic grocery bags are not being recycled. They are not. It's a lie. So I really wanted my craft to focus on making something out of those plastic grocery bags. I myself believe very strongly that fairy faith spirituality really should have a focus on the natural environment. We are not masters of this planet. We are participants on this planet, and it is our job, I think, to find ways to be a part of the environment and not to disrupt and destroy the environment. And it has become very evident that human trash and human plastics in specifics are becoming a huge problem for the world at large. The reality is this: plastic does not get recycled. It doesn't. And I'm going to explain why. Back in the 80s, I remember that there was an advertisement where there was a picture of a shampoo bottle and it said, "Please recycle me because I want to be a hairbrush," was the caption of this advertisement. And the reality is that shampoo bottles are not getting remade into anything. They're getting made into nothing. They are winding up in our oceans and our landfills. In the United States of America, 33 million tons of plastic are thrown out annually. And of that, only about 10% of it is actually being recycled. Now, I know that you might be thinking that the United States of America imported a great deal of its plastic recyclables to other countries. The biggest one was China, and China stopped accepting our plastics in 2018. And what's even more disturbing about this is that a great percentage of that plastic that we were shipping to China was contaminated, meaning that it was dirty or had trash on it, was not properly cleaned, all of these kinds of things. And because it was contaminated, where do you think that plastic ended up? It ended up being dumped into our oceans. When plastic is recycled, it really isn't made into new plastic products. A shampoo bottle is not being turned into a hairbrush. How plastics are usually recycled is they're turned into plastic fibers that usually go into making carpeting. Plastic is actually incredibly difficult to recycle. One of the reasons is that there are so many different types of plastics. Now, when you look on your plastic containers, usually on the bottom, there's a tiny little triangle with a number in it. And what this number means is it relates to the grade of plastic that this container is. The most commonly recycled plastics are the 1 and 2 grade plastics. Those are what's found usually on milk jugs and soda bottles. And those types of plastics are often the easiest to recycle. The other thing is that a 1 grade plastic container cannot be recycled with a 5 grade plastic container. So each of those plastics has to be individually separated into its specific types. And as I said, only 1s and 2s are most predominantly getting recycled. Anything beyond 2 is ending up in the landfill. Another problem with recycling is that plastics degrade over time, which means they can only be recycled once, unlike glass and metals, which can be recycled more times than that. But the number one reason that plastic is so difficult to recycle is the fact that virgin plastics are too competitive against recycled plastic. Recycling costs money, particularly plastic recycling costs a great deal of money. It's difficult, it's hard to do, you have to separate all out these different types of plastic. And on top of that, you have to compete with brand new plastics, which cost almost nothing to reproduce here in the United States. They're made with petroleum products, which are easily obtainable. While it may be, in the short term, cheaper to reproduce new plastics, as I said, those plastic products are winding up in our landfills, and plastic takes over 500 years to fully degrade. And in addition to that, remember that plastics are made with petroleum products, and that means that as they degrade, they are potentially leaking lethal substances into our soils that are harming our waterways, our soils, and the animals that live in the ground, the insects, the worms, and then what happens to the animals that need grass to eat? What happens to the animals that are drinking out of the water supplies that are now contaminated with those plastic products that are breaking down and leaching potentially harmful contaminants into our environment? Another thing that horrifies me about plastics is that I mentioned that many plastic products are dumped into our oceans. And the wildlife of the oceans are suffering horribly from this plastic waste. One of the most terrible things is that sea turtles, their main source of food happens to be jellyfish. Well, what looks like a jellyfish floating in the ocean? A plastic bag. So these sea turtles are mistakenly eating plastic bags, and their stomachs cannot break down this foreign material, and they are suffering digestively. Straws are getting caught in their nostrils. It's It's horrifying what we are doing with our plastic waste in this world today. The sad thing is that they have known about the problems with plastic recycling since it was implemented back in the 1970s. They knew that it was never going to be viable, but the plastic industries, the petroleum companies, released these advertisements trying to make the public believe that your shampoo bottle was going to be turned into a hairbrush. They wanted you to believe that so you would continue buying the plastic shampoo bottle and wouldn't care so much about what happens to it after you're finished with it. So I have been trying very hard to limit my use of plastic shopping bags. I bag my own groceries at the grocery store. The best option is to go earlier in the day when there are less people so that you don't have antsy people standing behind you freaking out that you're bagging your own groceries. I've also decided that I needed to find a different option for my shampoo bottles because, as I said, it's a lie. They are not getting recycled. And you can almost not buy shampoo except within a plastic bottle. I looked at hair care products that are sold in a bar form, but unfortunately with my very long hair, it's also very thick and very coarse in nature. So in order to be able to brush through it and manage it, I do use a lot of conditioner. So using a bar conditioner was not going to work for me, so I had to find another option. So what I'm doing for hair care now is that I found this company called Package Free, and they do liquid shampoos and conditioners in stainless steel bottles that you can then ship back to the Package Free company. They provide you with a shipping label and they will take it back, and then they will give you incentives to continue buying their products. I've been using this one bottle for quite some time now. I really actually quite like this conditioner and shampoo. I'm using the Rosemary Mint Vanilla scent, which I quite like. And I really like this shampoo and conditioner. Like I said, these are liquids that are more manageable for someone like me that has that very long, very coarse, very thick hair that maybe a bar shampoo and conditioner is kind of hard to use on. They also sell a lotion. I am going to be honest, and I'm going to let you know that I don't quite like the lotion as much as I like their shampoo and conditioner. But I like the fact that it comes in a stainless steel bottle so much that I am willing to deal with the consistency of the lotion. It's just a little thinner and it doesn't absorb as well as I would like it to, but it does do the job. It does keep my very dry skin moisturized, so there is that. Cleaning products also almost always come in a plastic container. And so when I was doing some research on that, I came across Daz. So it comes in a little packet and you get these two little tabs. You place them in water and shake it up and it makes a cleaner. I think they work really, really well, so I highly recommend this product. I bought this on Amazon. This plastic that the Daz all-purpose cleaner comes in is going to be garbage after I use the packet. But I think I would rather have this small little bag as my carbon footprint rather than a gigantic bottle like this for shampoo going into a landfill on a regular basis from my house. Another thing that we don't think about are vegetable bags. Like a lot of us were using our own reusable grocery bags, but we were still using plastic vegetable bags. These are called Earthwise vegetable bags. I take these to the grocery store with me and I put my vegetables in these bags. Now, when I get home, depending on the vegetable or fruit that I'm buying, I might put them in an airtight container and put them in the refrigerator. But when you're at the grocery store, these really nice mesh see-through vegetable bags are perfect for vegetables, and it will reduce the use of those plastic vegetable bags that are winding up in our oceans and confusing our sea turtles and endangering the lives of our sea wildlife. Spices are also a little difficult. You can purchase smaller, loose spices in many, many grocery stores, and then I just take those loose spices and I just add them to the containers that I already have. While this is a plastic container, I can keep this for the next 500 years and use the same container for all the cinnamon that I will ever need. Another thing that I've been doing to reduce my use of plastics is that I make my own yogurt. It's actually very easy to do. The yogurt goes into reusable glass containers, and it is much tastier than store-bought yogurt. I have a very keen sense of smell and taste, and I can actually pick up on the preservatives that are put into yogurt. So I actually prefer making my own yogurt. I'm also very particular about making bread. Store-bought bread has so many preservatives in it. It's scary. I feel like there's as much plastic in the bread that you're eating than there is in the bag that it comes in. So I make my own bread. Bread is also pretty easy to make. It really only takes a couple of ingredients, water, flour, and yeast, and that's it. Now, the truth is, it's really, really hard to avoid plastic. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in this video, it's everywhere. Oh my God, it's everywhere. So I drink a lot of milk. And it's good. And I don't have any problems, and I'm gonna keep drinking it. Milk, I can't find it in my area in anything other than a plastic container. Or with the research that I've conducted on plastic recycling in the United States is that milk jugs tend to be one of the plastics that can be recycled, so I do recycle my plastic milk jugs. So it is very difficult to find skincare products that will work with my very sensitive skin that are not in a packaged plastic container. So that is a harsh reality that I'm struggling with at this time. I don't have a lot of choice. I still have to buy my sunscreens and my skincare in plastic, but I'm hoping that by getting rid of my shampoo bottles and my lotion bottles that I can hopefully reduce some of my plastic waste that I'm contributing to the world. I was looking into the low waste community when I was doing research for this video, and the low waste community has some problems and some fallacies of its own. You know, that when I talk about the low waste community, I don't know if you're familiar, but these are the folks that usually have a mason jar that they put their unrecyclable trash into. And that's really not a good indication of how much trash one person is actually generating. Because I found some pretty horrible articles written by skeptics of the low waste community saying that if a low waste person goes to a store and buys a cleaning product like this, they will remove what they need and hand the trash back to the checkout cashier so that they don't bring the waste into their house and add it to their mason jar. But this package is still their trash. They're just pretending that it isn't. And so the low waste community, I think, has predominantly good intentions, but there's some fallacies within that community that are not being addressed. I think the lesson to be learned from that, we just have to do our best until a better option can be found. And we just have to be vigilant and buy as many products as we can that are made with aluminum and glass and paper products that more easily can be biodegradable, so that the petroleum companies can lose the great power that they have with their plastic products. All right, well, thank you so much for making it this far in the video. To have me go on and rail at you about the dangers of plastic. But if you're still here, you're probably wondering about winning one of these rabbits. Well, at least I hope you are, because they're really cute, and I would really love to give somebody one of these really cute little rabbits that I've made. So here are the rules for the giveaway. Now, it is very, very difficult actually to do a giveaway on the YouTube platform. I do not really have an effective way to communicate with you here on YouTube. So you do have to follow me on Instagram. That's rule number 1. So please go and look for Fairy Fortunes on Instagram, and you're gonna look for the thumbnail of this video, which I will have also at the end of this video for you to view. I would like for you to comment and tell me how you recycle and how you try to reduce your carbon footprint. Rule number 2 is that you do have to be a resident of the United States. Shipping overseas is a little difficult for me. Number 3 is the rules is that you can enter as many times as you want. You can enter every day until the 22nd of April, when I will announce the winner. I also want to draw your attention to the description box of this video, because along with listings to all these products, I also have links to companies in the description box that are using recycled plastic products. Most of them, like I said, plastic products usually get converted into plastic fibers that are used to make carpeting and clothing and shoes. So most of the products that I have that are made from recycled products are going to be items of that, but some of them are really unique and interesting, so I do hope that you will check out those links down below. Once again, this is not a sponsored video. I'm just really passionate about being responsible to the earth and trying to reduce putting out plastic damaging products into our oceans and into our environment. Now, while I would be delighted for you to be randomly selected to win one of my plastic handcrafted bunnies, I actually do have a video that you could watch that will teach you how to make your own. That video is called Quarantine Creations, a Gift for the Fae tutorial. So you don't necessarily have to win one of mine, you could make one of your own. Part of my mission here on Fairy Fortunes is to share my personal journey with modern fairy faith spirituality. I believe that the fairy spirits are intrinsically tied to the earth and the environment. And participating in the future health of this planet is a critical element in my spiritual practice. So be sure to follow me on Instagram to participate in this giveaway. I also am on Facebook. And as I mentioned, do check my website, www.fairyfortunes.com, for products, readings, and a host of blog articles written on fairy folklore, modern fairy faith spirituality, and of course, fairy-themed events. So I do hope that you have found this informative. I hope that I've educated you on the dangers of plastics and the harsh reality of recycling. But also there is hope. We can change the course of the future by our present actions. And with that, have a magical day.